start off Storm Watch tonight with the tropics. We have a new tropical depression to talk about, and it could become a tropical storm, plus the latest on Typhoon Babs, and then a look at what is occurring in the States as far as severe weather overnight. First, let's check in on the tropical weather and get you updated on what's going on as far as Babs is concerned in all the tropics, if we can update those tropics now. And this tropical update is sponsored by Rayovac Maximum. As far as history goes in the tropics, you can see that the storms are pretty much evenly placed on this map. Looking back to the late 1800s, 40 storms have occurred. So we expect about one named storm about every 3 years. And we need to talk about what's going on as far as statistics go. And now these storms, if we can go to our other source, these storms, as you can see, from the Caribbean and Gulf out through the Atlantic, nothing occurs out here, or nothing is formed out here historically. So these are the areas which are favored, and this is the area where we have our new tropical depression. Let's talk about what's going on first in the Gulf. Then we'll talk about Tropical Depression 13. A lot of heavy rain out here and gusty winds. This looks like it's moving up towards Texas, but right now with this cold front moving down, we're fairly confident that most of this rain will avoid those of you who have already had too much rain in Corpus Christi, Brownsville, up towards Houston, although I know it looks threatening. We're going to have to watch it for you, of course. We don't expect any tropical development. The main concern here is the rainfall, and it looks like the front should shove it back into Mexico at this point. We'll keep you updated. Now on to Tropical Depression number 13, latest in from the Hurricane Center, the first advisory written on this, and it is now packing winds of 35 miles an hour. Winds will be increasing, and we expect this to become a tropical storm during the day on Thursday. The Air Force Reservists, the hurricane hunters, will be out here looking at the situation again by lunchtime on Thursday, and it's likely that it will become a tropical storm. Winds now at 35, so it only has to go up a few more notches. The pressure is down to 1,001 millibars, and it's south of Kingston, Jamaica by about 360 miles. Here's Jamaica, Cuba, and Central America, and here is TD13. The center of the circulation is north of the area of showers and thunderstorms. Now, it's not an overly favorable environment right now, but it should become a little bit more favorable, and forecasts take this system off in this direction to the north-northwest or northwest over the next couple of days and intensify it to a tropical storm, and then it could become a hurricane. So if you have any interest in the Cayman Islands or Jamaica or anywhere in the northwestern Caribbean, you need to stay tuned, and we will monitor it for you. Of course, John Hope and Dr. Steve Lyons, our tropical specialist, will be on top of this first thing in the morning, on Thursday. Tuning to the west now through the islands, we have this stagnant area of low pressure, a trough of low pressure, and it's really not going anywhere. It's kind of blocked in, and it's producing showers and thunderstorms from the Virgin Islands back through the Leeward and Windward Islands, and this pattern is not going to change in the next day or so, but nothing expected to develop tropical-wise as far as the depression or storm. And here's another area we're watching, which is stationary, but again, not in a favorable upper-level wind environment. A lot of westerly wind, as you can see these clouds moving off in this direction. And the same goes for anything that comes off Africa. The Cape Verde season is all over. As you saw statistically, we've never had anything form since the late 1800s in this area, at least that we know about. Of course, before the advent of satellites, there were probably something out there we couldn't see. Hurricane Lester, winds of 105 miles an hour, but again, it is moving away from land. It's not moving very much. It's nearly stationary, but expected to kind of drift off in this direction. It is a very powerful hurricane, but again, it's not moving towards the Mexican coast. However, something that will impact land is Typhoon Babs, 120-mile-an-hour winds heading towards Manila. The track is farther south than last week's Super Typhoon Zeb as it moved up towards northern Luzon in the Philippines. Manila right here, and this is tracking in that way. Now, it is weakening, but we're still looking at winds over 100 miles an hour and heavy rainfalls, at least 10 inches. So we'll probably be hearing about this causing destruction, devastation, and unfortunately probably some loss of life. As a look at the tropics, back in the States, it's very, very quiet. A few showers in the west. We've had a few thunderstorms in South Florida, and that is about our only concern overnight for strong or severe thunderstorms. We've had no warnings, but you can see the rains, which are beginning to ease off. Next up, we'll check your local forecast. Then we'll come back and update the western heat wave here on the Weather Channel.
Folks wait for floodwaters to recede in Texas. Plus, it may be time to unpack your winter wear as freezing conditions spread farther south. Details next on Weather Center.
This program was sponsored by Rayovac Rechargeable Alkaline.
Batteries. Video games don't just blast through your batteries.
Poor batteries.
They blast through your money. That's why you should arm yours with Rayovac Maximum Alkaline. They pack long-lasting alkaline power but cost less, so you can buy more games.
How about a little one-on-one?
Get the Maximum. Rayovac Maximum.
Start looking forward to
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at the Weather Channel. I'm Marshall Cease. You're tuned in time for Storm Watch. Give you a full tropical briefing. There's not a lot going on over the lower 48 states, so we're going to stay focused on what's going on in the tropics, which could affect us over the next several days. Now, the Storm Watch is sponsored by Walls, and they want you to know, and so do we, that we have some developments occurring to our south out in the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. Last night, Tropical Depression 13 was named by the Tropical Prediction Center. It is centered at 12.7 north, 78.5 west, about 380 miles south-southwest of Kingston, Jamaica. Winds at 35 miles per hour. It's moving west about 8 miles per hour. Its estimated pressure at 1,001 millibars. Now, it's centered well to the south of the United States, but it is forecast to take a track that will take it first to the west, then to the northwest, and then perhaps a little more north-northwest, so that in several days, perhaps by late Friday, it may be south of Cuba. We also believe that the Tropical Depression 13 will become a tropical storm, and if it does become a tropical storm, it will be named Mitch. Lisa was the last one, although we all are still thinking George on the mind. We've had several since George. Now, here's the convection associated with this tropical depression. Now, the center of circulation is in this region to the north and just northwest of all of that convection. And part of the reason that this is not gaining a great deal of strength right now, although it's a pretty strong tropical depression, is we have this upper level low to its north and east. So that's keeping it in a little bit of a shearing environment right now. But this is forecast to lift out of the region and a high pressure build in, and as high pressure builds in, we become even more favorable for pretty rapid intensification. So it is forecast to become a tropical storm and then again head to the west, then to the northwest, then to the north-northwest over time. So a couple of the computer models most of them take it up into this region. After that, well, we'll just have to wait and see. And we have another situation we want to alert you to as well, this one in the Gulf of Mexico. Reconnaissance aircraft flew in here yesterday to check it out because there's a lot of convection that fired up. Now, this is a situation where the center of circulation is to the south of the convection. So it hasn't gotten its act together and is not a tropical depression, but certainly bears watching. It is moving very slowly toward the west. So it could affect South Texas with some more rain, which we don't need. But right now, it's pretty stationary sitting out in the Gulf of Mexico. The Tropical Prediction Center, National Hurricane Center are going to investigate both of these areas later today. And these are areas that are climatologically favorable for development at this time of year. As you can see, the preponderance of tropical storms that have developed in the history since for the week is October 21st to the 31st, about 40 storms in the last 111 years. And that includes the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. Now, another area further out near the Lesser Antilles, an area that bears watching because of improving climatological areas over the next several days, is this wave. That's brought some showers and squally weather to the Antilles. And we have another area that is further out to the east, which is progressing in that direction. But as you can see, we're still in a shearing environment out here. So although they bear watching, they're no threat to the lower 48 states at this point in time. No threat here either off of the coast of Africa. Remember Lester? Lester has gained some strength as it became stationary, 115 miles per hour now. Barometric pressure 108, barometric pressure 960 millibars. It is centered at 16.8, 108.7 west, and it is forecast to pick up some speed and start heading west over time. But as you can see, you have a well-defined eye now, tightly wound storm, and it will strengthen before it begins to make its move to the west. This is Typhoon Babs. Boy, the Philippines have gotten hit over the last 10 days with 2 typhoons. First, Super Typhoon Zeb, and now we had Typhoon Babs hit central Philippines. Government was closed, and schools out in central Philippines and Manila bracing themselves. Every day is new. We tell you about the weather right now. How will it affect where you're headed? What about your plans? People count on us to get them through the day. I love that.
This program was sponsored by Walls, leading the way outdoors.
If you spend any time in the cold, you should know Walls has clothes to keep you warm. We've been keeping active folks comfortable for over 50 years with clothes for winter's worst. Because we know the weather won't give you a break unless you take one. Walls, leading the way outdoors.
Walls quality outerwear is available at a retailer near you.
It's Thrifty Car Rental's 40th birthday, so let's get the show on the road. Call 1-800-4CARS. There's something special going on at Thrifty Car Rental and Blockbuster Video. You rent a car from Thrifty, you get a free movie rental from Blockbuster Video.